Wonderful. Well, folks, thanks for coming out tonight, and thank you for putting this together, Crystal. It's been just an awesome time working with you. You are a rock star, and Pedra, I'm looking forward to working with you. My name is Oliver Bergeron. I'm the owner of CI Destinations, and before we jump into this trip, I was telling Ann when we started our relationship back in 2015. I look back at where we've been together, and we're starting to see the world. I mean, we've been to the Tuscany, Ireland, the Amalfi Coast, Spain, Croatia, Portugal, Scotland next month or in March. And I'm just amazed at how chambers come together and we get to see the world really in a global experience. My name is Oliver Bergeron, and I've been working with Chamber for over 22 years now. And some things that I'll share with you before we jump into this exciting destination is CI stands for Chamber International Destinations. We only work with chambers of commerce. That's all we work with. We work with about 150 chambers across this great country. And some things that make our programs truly unique are, well, first of all, they're all fully tour managed. And for folks who are, and we've got some in the room tonight, who have never traveled with us before, what that means is when you land in Milan, you're going to grab your luggage. You're going to be met by your tour manager. She's going to be with you every day of the trip. You don't have a different guide doing different things. You have the same wonderful tour manager taking you to see the best of the Northern Lakes. And the difference from a tour manager to a tour guide is truly night and day. For instance, if you're in Milan and you have a city tour, maybe you have a local guide that's with you for 4 hours. And at the end of that tour, you're never going to see him again. So their commitment to you may not always be the best. Now, a tour manager that we have worked with year after year, season after season, they are there for you. They're not only your tour guide, they're going to become one of your family members. But more importantly, they're your personal concierge as you're taking in the Northern Lakes. So if there's something special you want to do, you let them know. They'll facilitate. I can see Ann nodding her head going, yep, they are rock stars. They're there for you. They're there to take this great brochure and breathe life into it. They recognize that, maybe you're only going to be in the Northern Lakes once in your lifetime. Let's make it that once in a lifetime trip. Let's really see the best that there is to see. And by the third day of the trip, your tour manager is going to be on your Christmas card mailing list. Crystal's heard me say that 100 times. That's my goal for our tour managers. I want them on your Christmas card mailing list by the third or fourth day. They are, like I said, there for you. Now, another thing that makes us special are hotels. Wow. When you see the hotels we're staying at in this program, they are incredible. And the pace of the trip, this program has the perfect balance of structured tours and leisure time. You don't want to be touring 8 hours a day every day of the trip. You want some downtime to, look at this picture, to enjoy, relax, have a cup of coffee right on the water's edge, or a glass of wine in the afternoon, whatever it may be. But truly take in and experience the Italian culture. So that's a little bit about CI Destinations, a little bit about me. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to minimize this picture. I love looking at everybody, but I'm going to take everybody off. Boom. And then I'm going to take me off because the pictures are, well, they're more important than me. And now we're going to jump into the best of the Northern Lakes. And this tour departs October 13th, 2026. And the weather this time of year, it's great traveling weather. You should be in the mid to high 60s, really perfect traveling weather. The lakes region can get very busy in the summer months, so we try to avoid it. With our programs, we always go in March and we always go in October. We get 60 to 70 temperatures and we get less crowds, because the crowded it gets, the more of a negative impact it can have on your program. So here we are, we're flying over to Milan, and currently we're holding air on American Airlines. We're going from Charlotte to JFK straight into Milan. but we all know how wonderful airlines can change their schedules. But that's what we've currently got going on. Let me try to move this toolbar down here. There you go. Here's a shot of one of our groups with one of our tour managers, and they're there for you. They're there to make sure we take in the absolute best that Northern Italy has to offer. Now, this is nice. And for those folks who haven't traveled with the chamber before, you'll appreciate this. We've included what we call the Whisper system. Now, this is a wireless headset that allows you to hear your tour manager from up to 250 feet away. Gone are the days where you have to huddle around your tour manager and say, wait, what is she talking about? What are we supposed to be looking at? Where is she? That scenario's gone. You've got the great wireless headset, and now you can actually absorb everything your tour manager has to say. These are some great inclusions, but now uh, the Hotel Astoria, right in the heart of Stresa. We are here for 4 nights. So let's just take this in. You actually get to relax and unpack your luggage and use the furnishings in your room. This is the breakfast area of our hotel. So some folks may not want to even leave this room. And the beauty of, gosh, the Italian lakes, it's around every corner. I always like to include a few shots of the public areas. And in case if you're wondering what lake we're on here, we're on Lake Maggiore. Great place to call home for 4 nights. And this speaks to the pace of the program. We've got a couple different hotels in this program, but the pace works out beautifully. So here we are on Lake Maggiore. This is the home of European nobility. Hemingway often visited this area. So it's nice. I like this shot because I want you guys to know what's around. We aren't just in a little tiny town away from anything. That we are in the heart of Stresa. The restaurants, there are some phenomenal ones, and I'll be happy to share those with you at our departure party because restaurants are a big part of this program. Now, included in our program, we have a hot buffet breakfast every morning, and then we have selected meals. And here's a few shots of the action going on in Stresa. There's all the outdoor eateries, whether you're shoreside or whether you're right on the water's edge. So this program has 2 optional tours, which means you can pick and choose what you want to do. And we've been doing this program for over 10 years now. And we've had travelers come back and say, we need a little more leisure time. We want to be able to pick and choose what we want to do. And for those folks who know me, my goal for our travelers is I want you to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And so for that reason, we've got this optional cruise that we're going to be taking in Lake Maggiore on our first day touring. And we'll leave right near the Astoria Hotel. We've got Stresa right over here. So our first stop is going to be the Isle of Madre. And we're going to be taking in three of the Bohemian islands in Lake Maggiore. They're very small, charming, but even being out on the water, you gain a different vantage point than you do when you're out actually touring through the different cities. And the Isle of Madre has some beautiful botanical gardens that we'll be touring. You can almost throw a rock right across the entire island. The Isle of Madre is actually the biggest of the 3 islands we're visiting. And it's home, what we're seeing here, it's home to the 17th century Baroque palace. As well as a small little chapel in the back of the island. We're also going to take in the Isle of Pescatore. Now, this is just a small fisherman's island. And the population, they say in the summer months is 78, and then it drops down to about 52 in the spring and the fall. And they say from right from the middle, and I've been there, right from the middle of the Isle of Pescatore, you can see both sides. And I always tell our travelers, you want to be, aware of what you're walking on while we're taking in our tours, because as you see here, we're walking on cobbled streets, bricks, uneven walkways. And this is the backside of the island of Pescatore. Now, my favorite island is the Isle of Bella. And we'll be spending probably about an hour and a half over here on the Isle of Bella. And now you can see why it's one of my favorites. We're going to take in the Italian style gardens. And this is actually measures 37 meters. So one thing I want to point out, so of course, as we're going on the entrance here, the entrance fees are always included. So you never have to spend a minute in line. I recognize the biggest commodity in this trip, or really in all of our trips, is our travelers' time. And I never want our travelers to have to waste a minute in line to purchase some silly admission tickets that I can purchase well in advance. So the attire for the program is pretty much resort casual, being high 60s, low 70s, Levi's, Dockers, layered, maybe a light jacket, button-down shirts, knit shirts, things of that nature, but really no need for any formal wear or suits or gowns or things like that. One way I like to describe the Northern Lakes is it has all the attraction of the French Riviera, but without the busyness and the crowds. And the fact we're staying at the Astoria for 4 nights is just one great shining element. Here's one of our groups. Now, something special. I mean, this is very special for the Danville, Pittsylvania County Chamber. When we partner with Ann and her team, we always make sure the chamber has its own exclusive departure. And I said we work with like 150 plus chambers. There's probably 15 chambers we do that for. But it's so nice because, if you have 30, 40 people, it's your own group. You don't have to worry about a family reunion you're joining your group or a retirement club. This is just friends and family of the Danville, Pittsylvania County Chamber. And when I say friends and family, if you have friends that are maybe they're in Salt Lake City or Oklahoma, or let's say Fresno, they don't need to fly to Charlotte to meet the group. We can fly them from their preferred cities. They just need to make a little note on their reservation form. Hey, I'm interested in flying from Orlando or wherever it is. And my team will reach out to you directly and create that perfect schedule for you. Let's jump back to the itinerary. So the next morning, we'll wake up, we'll enjoy that nice breakfast overlooking Lake Maggiore. And now we're going to jump on our deluxe motor coach, typically 3 to 5 years old. And we're going to go for about an hour and a half drive along the water's edge over to Lake Como. Now, Lake Como is the third largest lake in Italy. And it's been considered really, well, almost one of the most beautiful lakes in Europe. And I can attest that it's probably one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen. This entire region is probably one of the most beautiful areas in the world that I've toured. So while we're in Lake Como, of course, we're going to take in the Cathedral of Santa Maria l'Assunta, which began construction in 1396. You'll be in awe as we walk through the entrance. It's been described as the largest Gothic Catholic cathedral built in Italy. And it's one of the most important buildings in this region, actually. So after we've toured through Lake Como and Como, as well as the cathedral, we're going to make our way over to the plaza. We'll have some free time, enjoy lunch, strolling through the streets, do a little shopping if you like. I'm not a huge shopper by any means. And then we're going to touch on one of the most spectacular little cities on Lake Como, and that is Bellagio. And Bellagio is, like I said, on the banks of Lake Como. And this is in the Lombardy area. This is also commonly referred to as the Pearl of the Lake. Yeah, Bellagio's, I mean, this whole program is spectacularly beautiful. And if you were to do the program on your own, you would miss so many insights and highlights that your tour manager brings to the table. I've had travelers go on our trips and they come back and they say, geez, Oliver, everything you said happened. And this was the easiest trip I've ever done. All I had to do was pack my bag, grab my passport, and make my way to the airport. And CI destinations, well, we'll take care of everything else. So in Bellagio, we're also going to be taking in Villa Dieze. And the admissions is included. And another just dramatic, beautiful sight in Bellagio. The Villa Dieze is almost, I think it's the number one attraction in the city. Outside, of course, George Clooney's home, which I've got a shot of coming up. But you can see the grounds are just unbelievable. And there's George's house, but I think he just recently sold it. So now we're going to make our way over to Villa Taranto on the next day. This is only 20 minutes from our hotel. And so we'll enjoy breakfast. We're going to make our way over to Villa Taranto, take in the rolling gardens, the paths. Spectacular. It looks just like this in October. It's just a great time to go. And then we'll have the rest of the afternoon at our leisure, which is nice. It's nice to have that little downtime so you can do what you want when you want to do it. I mean, you are in one of the most stunning areas of the world. You just want to soak it all in. So now we're going to make our way over to Lake Garda. And Lake Garda is the largest of the Italian lakes. And the most famous spot upon Lake Garda is this area called Sirmione. And it actually dates back to 150 AD. But right now, it's an amazing resort area, as you see here. But we'll also be taking in not just this area, but the ruins of Sirmione. And like I said, it dates back to 150 AD. So now we're on Lake Garda. We've now have left Stresa. We've checked out of the hotel Astoria. And now we're making our way over to Villa Rose, which is also right on the water's edge. And talk about dramatic. This is a great property. We're at the Villa Rose Hotel on Lake Garda for 2 wonderful nights. And all throughout the tour, you'll be thinking, gosh, Ann, thanks for putting this program together, because we are now seeing, like I said, just some spectacular parts of the world. And hotel selection is crucial. We always stay in 4-star city center hotels. Sometimes the location's, more important than the star classification, but we always stay in great hotels in great locations. This is right from the restaurant of the hotel. It's right about dinner time for you folks. And the breakfast area. So on the lakes area, when we're staying at like the Villa Rose, the Astoria, the restaurants at the hotel, many times they're a local favorite to the locals. So you wake up, have that wonderful breakfast. Now, today is our second optional tour. You can choose to relax, enjoy Lake Garda, enjoy your hotel, sleep in, take a spa treatment if you like, or take that one optional tour over to Verona. And this is another gem in the Lakes District. We're going to be taking in the Arena de Verona, the second largest Coliseum, second largest to the Coliseum in Rome. Just an amazing arena. And here's a few of our fun-loving travelers. We'll also be taking in the Ponte Castel Vecchio. This is the main artery in Verona. Of course, one of the attractions to Verona is, of course, the balcony of Juliet and Romeo, which we'll be making our way over there right as we go through the Palazzo. Here's the balcony itself. And then we'll have some free time in the city center of Verona. So we're getting a grand Italian taste. And one area where your tour manager will truly shine is in the restaurants. And Anne and Crystal know this because it's so nice to have a local saying, what kind of food are you looking for? And in the same breath, they'll say, this restaurant over here that has English on the menu, you may want to avoid that because that serves the masses. If you're looking for a real authentic Italian experience, you may want to go over here. Um, and when we do the document party, I'll give you some wonderful restaurant recommendations, as Crystal knows I've done in the past. But it's nice again to have some free time in Verona after we've toured. So today we're going to enjoy a little bit of wine tasting on Lake Garda. And not only wine tasting, we're also going to enjoy a little olive oil tasting, some charcuterie, as you can imagine. We're going to learn all about the different varieties. And this is one of our groups here, walking through the vineyards. Yes, today is a great day. Now we're still on Lake Garda. We're going to go to one of the gems of Lake Garda, and that is Limon Garda. And of course, limon means lemon, and they are very proud of their lemons in Limon Garda. But just look at this, just soak it all in, and we'll have a full tour of Limon Garda. Some time to enjoy a local flavor, free time wandering around the narrow lanes, the city centers, have a cup of coffee. And you can compare firsthand the differences of Lake Garda to Lake Maggiore to Lake Como. So we're starting to close things up. We're now going to make our way back over to Milan, where we'll be staying at the Windsor Hotel for one night before checking into our flight the next morning. So we'll enjoy a nice breakfast, get up, and make our way over to the Milan airport. and make our way back to Charlotte. Now, this program does have a 2-night extension in Milan, which works really beautifully because you actually get 3 nights in Milan. And of course, here we are at the Milan Cathedral, and it was dedicated to Saint Mary of Nativity. Absolutely amazing. Milan is the metropolis of the Northern Lakes, and the cathedral is center stage. Absolutely amazing. And even though we have the extension, we still will have our same tour manager taking in, showing us all the highlights that Milan really has to offer. I love this shot. This is a very unassuming building, but this building is the La Scala Opera House in Milan. Okay, let's take a look at this, right? We're going to let's jump back. Who would have thought this would be this? The La Scala Opera House. And it was actually inaugurated on August 3rd, 1778. That's a little bit of the history of Milan. But now we're going to step into, gosh, the rich and famous area, the Boulevard of Montepoloni. And this area is where you'll have the mega fashion designers, Louis Vuitton, Rolex, Cartier, the nice little Ferrari in the front. And here's one of our groups getting ready to bid farewell, come back to the States until they plan their next trip um, over to the Northern Lakes. So let's get back down here. Let's turn this back on. Let's turn this over here and find some really cool shots. Open this up. So that is just a taste of the Northern Lakes. It gives you a good idea. What you really want to take home tonight is amazing hotels, fully tour managed, the perfect balance of structured tours and leisure. So you have that nice balance. And I can tell you the other thing to take away, something that the Danville, Pittsylvania County does is they always make sure someone from the staff goes with the group. And that's a huge commitment. And it's a fun commitment on their part, but it's a huge commitment. And I can tell you, I'd love to know the number of travelers we've seen go through over the world. But we've have 30 to 40 people on our trips. And I'm amazed of how it truly becomes a family. Wouldn't you agree, Ann?
Absolutely. And for those of you who are new to this type of travel, we have a core group of people like Debbie and Kathy and many on the call today that go with us on our trips. And it's just really, really nice. So you'll have one or two chamber members with you. You'll have a tour guide with you all the time. So it's a really great experience. For us and for you, I hope. So I hope that you'll join us.
Yeah, and one other thing that the chamber really steps up, and I work with a lot of chambers, but not many do what these ladies do. They actually will arrange a motor coach to go from some point in the community to the airport. And it costs a little bit, not very much, but how nice is it to know that when you land in Charlotte, you don't have to drive home? I mean, they just keep the quality going so high. And my hat's off to Ann and her team.
Thank you, Oliver.
So how do you register?
Right.
On the back of the brochure, I think Kendra put one in the chat, but if not, we're going to email everybody one so you have it. On the back of the brochure, there's a registration form. You simply complete that, send that to the chamber, drop it by the chamber along with your deposit check of $450 per person made out to CI Destinations. Then they'll mail that to us, and we'll send out a confirmation packet welcoming you to the trip with frequently asked questions, passport information, travel insurance information, those two optional trips information, and the Milan extension. So a really plethora of information. But I think the most important thing to drive home with that packet is you have a point of contact if you have any questions. Do I need a TSA number? What are the seat assignments? Do I
Yeah.
need a visa? Whatever they may be, you can give us a call, and we should be able to answer those questions, I hope.
Yeah.
And if you guys have somebody that wants to fly, from a different airport, maybe the Barkhausers, you guys want to fly, just let us know where you want to fly from, and we'll take care of that and get you the flight schedule that works for you.
Oliver,
Mhm.
how much extra do you add, please, for single occupancy?
So the single occupancy is going to be, oh, I need new glasses, $750 per person. Now, single occupancy rooms, thank you for asking. Single occupancy rooms in Europe, they cost more and they're smaller
So it won't
and
be a
they're
full
li-
si- it
and
won't
they're
be a full
limited.
it won't be a full size room.
No, it won't be a full size room. It's not like here in the States, like if I go to the Marriott and I check in, I'll have a king room. You'll have just a smaller room with a single bed. And I always like to inform our travelers up front so you don't have any surprises. And the other downside to the single supplement, or not single supplement, but the single rooms, well, since they're designed for singles, the hotels have a limited amount of them and they always sell out. The hotels have given us 4 singles, and usually it's 3, but they've given us 4 singles. So if you are a single traveler, let the chamber know and get that taken care of because those do sell out. Now, if you want to fly in earlier, maybe you want to extend, maybe you want to jump over to Tuscany or do something different. Um, Write the word custom on here, maybe an idea of what you want to do, and then we'll reach out to you, create a dialogue, and build that custom trip. I've had travelers, I mean, if you want, just shoot the moon. If you got the time, you might want to extend, do something different. We'll make it happen for you. And now that trip is becoming your trip of a truly lifetime experience.
Yeah. Oliver, I do want to say one thing, and I think what sets you and Sherry and CI Destinations apart is your responsiveness. Um, Always being there to answer any questions that we may have. That's pre-departure and on the departure. We've had a couple of little mishaps along the way, and I'll just share a story just to show how Oliver works. Crystal and Kedra and I, we can't say enough. Don't forget your passport. Don't forget your passport. And when you get on the bus to go to the airport, show me your passport. Well, on our trip to Ireland, we had a lady, we were probably 20 minutes from Charlotte, and she ran to the back of the bus and her passport was in the car here at the Institute. Oliver, she came back with the bus and Oliver got her on the next flight out, and she actually met us at the hotel for breakfast. So the only thing that she missed was like a half a day tour in Dublin, which we were making up at the end anyway. So that just gives a small story of how he helps us at the chamber when things happen on these tours. But I want you to feel very, very confident that you will be taken care of by us.
Absolutely. And for those folks who are new to the travel experiences, the chamber market it's a competitive market. There's about 5 companies out there, and they probably call poor Ann 5 times a day. And yeah, if Ann wanted to go to somewhere else, she could. So it's always a matter of always earning business and putting your best foot forward and making sure your travelers are happy. I mean, I am just tickled to see James and Christina down here. I haven't seen you guys in a while. We met back when Lori was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do have a lot of repeat travelers on the trip, which I feel like is a testament to Oliver and the quality of the trips. Kathy and Mike Shelton, Debbie and Brian Bridgeforth, Kay Shelton, and her daughter Stephanie, they're all on the call today, and they travel with us repeatedly. So
Yeah.
that's
Sheltons, I love you. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge you guys earlier. My screen only shows 6 people, and Ann's one, and I'm one, and Crystal's one. And I only have the Barkhouses, Veronica, and then the
oh
BYT.
yeah.
Mine shows 5, but I have an error. 6, but I have an error to see the rest of the people.
So
Yeah,
this is Kay.
considering that Oliver's in California, and the time change, I don't know whenever he sleeps when he has groups departing, but you
I
do a great
don't.
job, Oliver.
Yeah, this is Kay Shelton. So I can vouch for the people that are new on the call that it's awesome traveling with the chamber. I feel very safe. The Italy trip, I went and 2 of my granddaughters went with me, and I told them, I said, look, the chamber people will make sure you're fine, and so will our friends, because I'm an old lady, and I said, something happens to me, don't worry, they will get you home.
That's right.
This is Janet. I can attest to that too. In 2016, our flight that was supposed to be coming into Florence to take us back out couldn't land because of fog, and which made us then late for our plane in Paris. And our tour manager actually scrambled with Lori Moran at the time to not only get us, situated with the airline with hotels for the night and all that stuff, but made sure that like we were good before the tour manager even left us at the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you can't always, control little mishaps along the way, but there's always a plan in place. So I think that's why so many of our travelers continue to trust us for these trips.
Especially you, Crystal, leaving your whole backpack on the airplane
Oh,
after you
I
got
know. With all my credit cards and my passport.
Oh,
Yeah,
but it worked out, right?
it did. After about 45 minutes, it worked out. So yeah, if you are interested, like Oliver said, we have shared the application for the trip registration in the chat, and we will be mailing or emailing those out as well to everyone who registered tonight. And if you are interested, you can drop your application off at the chamber and make your deposit payable to CI Destinations. Um, and if you have any questions about the trip, you can call our chamber office, and that number is 434-793-6990.
And if you have any other questions that you want to shoot towards me, my number's on the bottom right page of that brochure. I'll put it in the chat. It's 888-660-7397.
And for those of you who are traveling with me to Scotland on March 24th, we're going to have our document party on March the 10th at 5:30. So we'll send out that Zoom session in just a bit. But it's right around the corner for us, so I'm starting to get really excited.
And Kedra corrected the phone number. Apparently, I forgot it already. Sorry.
I didn't even call you. I said she's already forgotten about it.
I know. Terrible.
But yes, the correct number is in the chat.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. Did anybody have any questions before we wrap up? No? All right. Well, have a wonderful evening, and please reach out if you do have any questions.
All right, folks. Have a great evening. Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Crystal. Great
Thank
meeting you,
you.
Kendra.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.